So a lot of times we have heard people say that this person has achieved excellent results because they were extremely motivated. Now the main reason why they achieved those results was probably because they were disciplined, which is why I wanted to make this video, as it is evident that discipline is often misunderstood as motivation. Now let's first distinguish between discipline and motivation. What is motivation? Motivation is that short bursts of energy, that short period of time when we want to do something, when we feel the need to achieve something. And we have an excellent source of energy arising out of that motivation, which helps us to do something, to take the first step. Whereas discipline, is putting the same amount of energy for a consistent period of time, let's say 1 year or 2 years, regardless of the fact of whether you are feeling like it or not, regardless of any motivation. Now let's understand this with using an example of a bodybuilder. Now let's say there are two bodybuilders. The first bodybuilder is extremely motivated and the second bodybuilder is extremely disciplined. Now, so the case of the first bodybuilder is simply that, suddenly they were extremely motivated and they started working out. And they had the best training, nutrition, and combined with all of those things. And one of the major drawbacks of motivation is that it slowly starts fading away. So maybe after a week or so, that bodybuilder might not feel the same kind of energy which they started with, because motivation has faded away. Whereas in the example of the disciplined bodybuilder, what we can see is that they must be putting the same amount of energy and effort combined with all the things, regardless of the fact they were feeling like it or not, regardless of whether they were having a good day or a bad day. It does not matter to them, and they must have achieved it over a consistent period of time, let's say 1 year. And now let me ask you a question: who will make more progress? Who would have more achievement, the disciplined one or the motivation one? So obviously the disciplined one, because their efforts would have compounded over a period of time, whereas the motivated person was only waiting for that motivation to strike back, which is really not frequent, and maybe that's once in a blue moon. Whereas the disciplined person kept going at it whether they felt like it or not, because they were not caring about the end goal. They were just disciplined and enjoying the process. So what's the whole point of this video? So the main point I'm trying to make here is that what we should strive for, is it discipline or motivation? Now don't get me wrong, motivation in some cases is really useful, because we get that initial push, that initial step. It helps us to take that initial step. But to keep it running, you have to be disciplined and no one can stop you. Whereas a motivated person can become successful, but the amount of time it will take for a disciplined person would be much less. So that was the video. Bye.